Oh, good. Okay. So we'll just get going on the assignment here. Have you tried any more of the homework since the pictures came in?
No.
Okay. Now, one thing I did notice is that your instructor really wants you to check your answer.
Yes.
Check your work. Okay. So your answer is S equals 34. So you actually start with your answer, and then you rewrite the equation with that number in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really a question. You're saying, is the left equal to the right? So you add it is, yeah. And it's your instructor is looking for something like this. It's also a way for you to decide, okay, yeah, did I do it right or not? Okay, I want us to go to 8, if you're okay with that. Well, actually, let's do 6. 6, we should do 6 first.
Okay.
Okay, let's look at number 6.
Okay, so 11 minus n equals 14.
Wait a second. I heard some things I don't like.
Oh no, never mind.
Can you read this thing over here on the left that I'm sort of circling?
Right. That's 7 times 7.
Yeah, it's 7 to the power of 2, or 7 times 7, like you said.
Right.
Okay, so how do you undo subtraction by 11?
You're gonna add 11.
Add 11 to both sides of the equation. What do you get on the left? What is 49 plus 11?
Hang on. Okay. 49 plus 11. 60.
60, good. Now we need to check your answer.
Mm-hmm.
So you can start by writing your answer.
60 minus 11 equals 4.
So the reason this one's a little bit different is you actually do have to manipulate the left side. You do have to write 49. Like you have to show that the left equals the right. But what you're not allowed to do is move things around. So you're just putting in the number back into the equation, and hopefully the left side equals the right side.
Okay. Okay,
so let's look at number 8 next.
Okay.
And this is somewhat new, so that's why I want to get into this. So before you solve, there's some things that you have to do. And we kind of did that in the last problem, but before you solve, you have to simplify if possible. And the word simplify could mean a lot of things. In this problem, it means to combine like terms. Okay. So this 12 and this 17, they are a like term. Now it's okay that they're not next to each other because you can make them next to each other. Addition is what is called commutative, which means the order doesn't matter. And if you ever need like help with that, you can just take a simple example: is 1 plus 2 to the 3 plus 3 the same as 1 plus 3 plus 2? Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So 12 plus 17 is 29. Plus r equals 60. And now this is an equation you can solve.
Okay.
So you're always trying to get something back to something you know how to do.
Okay.
So how do you solve this equation?
Hang on. You're going to subtract 29.
Exactly. So let me know what r equals, please.
$39.
Try again.
Oh, 41.
Try again.
Wait, what? Oh, it's 60 minus 29. Right. Forgot about that. There's 31.
It is 31. I heard some different things.
Oh yes, it's 30. Right.
I heard some other numbers that weren't this.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now to check. So this is an important thing is you always go back to the original. So at some point in the future, we will be doing another problem and I will say, did you check it in the original? And you're going to hopefully say, oh yeah, yes, I did that. So what is the value of R that we found?
We found 31.
31. So again, what you do is you replace it.
Okay.
And you're not allowed to manipulate the sides. You're supposed to just work on the left or the right. So is 12 plus 31 plus 17, is that 60? And you really want to treat it, and this is the hard part. You really want to treat it like it is wrong and just like really make sure that you don't just say, oh yeah, it's 60. It's very easy on a test to do that.
Okay. All right.
Cool. So let's look at another problem here. So let me get back to where I can see your assignment. Do you have a quiz this week in math?
I don't think so. I think I have one next week.
You have one next week? Okay. All right, let's look at 9, and I'd like you to try this one on your own. I think you'll be able to do it without problem. It's just like the last one. You want to combine everything on the left first, that's like terms,
Okay.
and then solve the way we've been talking about.
Okay. 10. W equals 10.
Yeah, that is correct. Now I'm going to show you the check. 25 plus 10 plus 2, does that equal 37? So
Yes.
you could show it in steps, but yeah, it does end up equaling 37. Very good. We've got plenty of time. Let me just make sure. Yeah, we've got plenty of time here. So let's have you do number 10 also.
Okay. Um, 17. Q equals 17.
Q equals 17. That is correct. Yeah. And the check here is 17 plus 6 plus 77. Does that equal 100? 17 plus 6 is 23. 23 plus 77 is 100. Very good. Now they do get more sophisticated than this one, but for now that's good enough here. So let's have you try, I don't know, let's have you try number 3 from the first page. I know I'm having you move around a little bit, but you do seem to understand the.
Okay.
Let's try this one. I want you to tell me your answer, and then we'll do the check together.
Mm. 205.
Yeah, X is 205. Perfect. And so your check is to put that back in for X and decide if that equals. I guess you're supposed to come off to the side and show your work. I'm not really sure. I mean, like, I feel like you could almost do that with mental math because fives add up nicely and so on, but it does end up working out here. Maybe a check mark, something to show. Okay, yeah, they are the same.
Okay.
All right, why don't you choose between 4 and 5 and work on one of those, and then we'll move to that last question after.
I'll do 5.
Sounds good.
$237.
237.
Yep.
Okay, so your check is to put that number back in. So it's 237 minus 78. Why don't you work that out and off to the right, you know, where you have to borrow, and see what you come up with.
Okay. I got 237.
Yes. No, you should not get
Wait,
230.
sorry. It's
You should-
159.
Yeah, you should get 159. Very
Yeah.
good. Okay. All right. So the last question on your assignment asks you to use the 5-step process. So first question is, do you remember the 5-step process?
Oh no.
Okay. Well, while you were doing that problem, I went and looked up the video your instructor sent me a while back. So I've got the 5-step process down. Do you look at your homework when you get it, or you just tuck it in your bag or folder and exit the class?
No, I look at it.
Sometimes it's a good idea to just scan it all the way through and like be like, you know, oh, what's the 5-step process, and maybe get that down. So the first step is to, and I'm not sure exactly how your instructor would word this, but it's to determine what you are calculating.
Yeah.
And it's generally the last sentence.
Okay.
Generally. Now, you have a lot of room on your page, I'm guessing. Like, I'm guessing you've got the whole, so you want to say like either one with a circle, or you want to say step 1, underline. You want to make it really clear to your teacher,
Yeah.
like don't make them try to guess where your step 1 is. And you don't want to just say the sentence. You want to say it instead of it as a question, you want to make it more of a declarative. You want to say the cost to fly from Baltimore to Chicago,
Okay.
or the price, something like that. The price
Mhm.
By the way, have you ever been to Baltimore or Chicago?
No.
Have you traveled outside of Arizona?
Yes.
Where have you been outside of Arizona?
Mexico and Italy
Mexico. Wow. So
and Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Cool. Cool. Favorite of those?
Probably Pennsylvania.
Awesome. All right. So that is step one. And now you could put a line. You don't have to put a line, but you could break it up. Here is step two. Step two is to do some sort of like draw a picture,
Okay.
which maybe maybe is hard because you're like, what is even the problem asking about? But let's go back and actually read it. So Alice bought a round trip ticket. Do you understand what a round trip ticket means? Okay,
Going there and back.
there and back from Baltimore to Chicago on Super Air. There is no Super Air, but that's a nice name for it. For $250. That was $16 more than she would have paid on Jet Airlines. Okay, so she bought it on Super Air, and for whatever reason, she paid $16 more than she would have on Jet Airlines. Oh, let's find out why, which only offered a one-way fare. How much did Jet Airlines charge to fly from Baltimore to Chicago? Okay, so any ideas of what you might come up with for a picture?
Maybe a plane flying or something.
Yeah,
I
now
don't know.
how is your geography? Can you tell me roughly where either city is in the United States compared to?
Chicago's sort of, I don't know if it's in Michigan or not, but it's on the Great Lakes.
Okay,
And Baltimore, I have no idea.
yeah, so we'll just call this Baltimore, and Chicago, not to
Okay.
scale, is there. Okay. But and like you said, you can just draw a plane, you can draw arrows. For some reason your instructor wants a picture. Doesn't always, the truth is you don't always need a picture.
Yeah.
You might need a table, you might need something else, but a graph. But what she's trying to show you here is that you sometimes want to take a step without knowing what to do.
Okay.
Now, you're also supposed to have some numbers here, and that's probably the most important thing. So to do a round trip ticket on Super Air, it's $250. So to go, maybe put that somewhere. Round trip is $250 on Super Air. It's basically like extracting the information that's useful from the problem. And then Jet Airlines was only one way. So Jet Airlines only went, they only went this direction. That's Jet Airlines. And we need to figure out that cost.
Okay.
Okay. And then so your instructor also seems to want you to determine which math operation you're going to use, whether it be plus, minus, multiplication, or division, or other. Any idea what that might be for this problem?
No.
So we want to know how much more she would have paid. If you want to know how much more something is, how much more?
Multiplication.
Sometimes
Or
that's
addition.
multiplication, so those are all right, but it's in the context. We have to look at the numbers here. The flight was $16 more. So how do we undo $16 more?
Division or subtraction?
Subtraction. Yeah. So this is a subtraction problem. All right. So all of that is step two. So step three is to actually do the operations.
Okay.
So the question is it 250 like we just talked about? Is it minus 16? Is it plus 16? Is it times 16? Is it divided by 16?
It could minus 16.
Yeah, and sometimes when you write them all out, which I don't necessarily want you to do, but some of these don't even make sense.
Yeah, that would be like a ton of money. This times 16.
Yes, right. It's not even reasonable, but there are problems like that. Like if it was a trip to the moon, it would obviously be a lot more expensive than a trip to there. So yeah, this is the correct one, and you have to perform that math operation.
Okay. 234.
234. Now, what are the units of your answer? How do we pay? What methods? Not how do I answer? How do we exchange goods in our economy?
By paying for them.
And what do we use to
Money.
pay? Money, yeah. So we've got to put this in dollars. Step 4 is to check your answer.
Okay. Would it be 234 plus 16?
Yes, very good. Very good.
The inverse of subtraction with addition.
Yes, and the instructor asked this question. I think this is a reason one. Does it make sense? And you probably didn't buy your plane tickets. Your parents probably did when you went places, but you get a sense of how much things cost in this world.
Yes.
And I don't know, it's probably a little low right now for this type of thing, but it's not unreasonable.
And then you'd write your
yeah, if you ordered a pizza and they said that'll be $250, you might want to question that. Right. But for an airplane ticket, that's probably reasonable. Step 5, and I think this is actually the most important step, is to actually write your answer in a sentence.
Okay.
So this is where you've really got to go back to the original problem and remember, okay, it's kind of what we put in part 1, which is you would say the price to fly from Baltimore to Chicago is, and you give that answer.
Okay.
So you give your answer, but you have to wrap some numbers, you have to wrap some words around it. The price to fly from Baltimore to Chicago is $234. You could add in on Jet Airlines if you wanted.
Okay.
Any questions on that?
No.
So we don't have a ton of time left. We might as well just go back and finish up your assignment. That way you don't have any more math to do for tonight. I guess number 2 we need to complete, and then number 4.
4, 2, 4.
So I'll have you try those, and we can.
Number 2. W equals 16 for number 2.
Go ahead and check that.
Okay. I got 68.
Yep, 68 equals 68. All right, let's go to number 4.
I got 85, or W equals 85.
Perfect. Yep. Always show your check.
I got 47.
Yeah. Are you going to dress up for Halloween in a week?
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe. Okay. Are you you big candy guy? Do you like anything in particular?
I really like M&Ms.
M&Ms. Excellent. Excellent. Cool. Now, how's Lego Club going?
Great.
Are you guys building anything? Are you using software? What are you guys doing in there?
We're programming our robot right now.
What is the goal of the robot?
Well, Lay League is just like this sort of, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to explain.
All right. Have you ever seen the Robot Wars on some of the
No.
Discovery Channel? They're quite intense. And that's so it's always fun to see what they did, what they came up with. All right. Well, great job, August. Got another lesson on Wednesday, so we'll just keep going, and appreciate your willingness to work through these problems on your own. You did a great job today.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Have a great night. Bye now.
Bye.